doing basic calendar, but due to lack of bodies, that's what it's been this last year. So,
Ms. Linton, I was the one that brought the question up.
okay.
So-
I'm sorry, I didn't know
So you
who.
can throw your knives or shoot your arrows at me, but
I just want you to know how hard everyone is working, and it's a hard thing. It's a hard thing to fight, you know.
absolutely. And the reason I brought it up was that one of your attorneys brought it to my attention that yes, during this contentious time, it was identified that this attorney, and I will not identify this attorney because he asked me not to, and I will adhere to that request, was that we have too many attorneys, and yes, we could be doing with less, and yes, we all deserve a pay raise. So out of that discussion came the request from this board for a time study to see, yes, you are adequately staffed, or you need more, or you could do with less. So it was a simple request then, I think it's a simple request now, that would benefit both you and the citizens, that we have a baseline of staffing of either good, bad, or whatever. And it's been a year now, and so my question was, where are we on that? And in so much to identify your budget as being too little, should be more, should be adequate. Simple as that. It's been a year and we hadn't heard anything really of substance.
We did, at one point, a proposed time study was put out, and unfortunately, the person that is no longer with us did not consult with me, and it met with outrage. I don't think that you can fully understand that when you come into a new administration, and a prior administration allowed certain privilege, if you will, to certain people and handled an office differently by 180 degrees than what I do, it's very different. And I don't hear anybody saying that the public defenders are going to be doing a time study, or that the alternate defenders. So if that's what we're going to do, we need that across the board. You can't single out the DA's office.
I brought it up as across the
Yeah,
board.
because it's just, you can't do that. One thing I had proposed, and I did briefly talk about it with Tom Mitchell, was tell the attorneys, go pull, it's going to take a lot of time, go pull, a sampling of your cases, because we do always write notes in the case when we go to court or when we do motions. So get a sampling and say, and then I was in trial for this long, I needed to prepare, because every case has got probably any number of motions, all which take preparation, not just the courtroom time. Courtroom time is sort of the lesser amount of time if you're handling your cases the way they should be handled.
But Ms. Linton, I'm becoming, I guess, more concerned the more you discuss this item. You were a private attorney. Most everyone in your ploy was a private attorney. They had to bill for those activities that you're mentioning. I'm finding difficulty bringing up a simple status report to now hearing that because your office is public attorneys, they're not able to substantiate without a huge amount of work the same things they did as private attorneys so that they could bill and receive payment for. I'm having a little heartache with that.
You're having a heartache with it. First of all, if I was in private practice in a city, I wouldn't be earning what I'm earning. I'd be earning $200,000 a year. All right?
That's
so
probably
these
true.
people are paid less, but part of the trade-off for attorneys being paid less for being in public employ is that they have paychecks every 2 weeks and wonderful benefits that I'm sure they all appreciate. And I don't know a single county, and correct me, Tom, because I know you're familiar with so many things, that requires this of public attorneys. They are not in civil law, and they're not in places where they're billing all the time, because their passion is to protect the public. It shouldn't be, in my opinion, to be making money or making big bucks. If that's what you want, don't stay in my office, please leave. And so that is part of the trade-off that you're doing, is to do that kind of laborious keeping track is time-consuming, and they'd rather be in court doing their jobs or at their meetings with the victims or going out to the crime scene than spending literally hours and hours keeping track of time. So that's why I say I understand it, but, you know, I've invited people before. When I first came on, I had Allison over to see the office. Come to court any day of the week and you sit through a trial. Before I got here, part of my time, if I was billing it out, how do you bill out that you've got a witness that is undergoing an anxiety attack, is crying and curled up on a ball on the floor, and as an attorney, as the district attorney, I'm helping her to breathe deep to see if there's some way we can get her to take the stand. I don't know if she did. So those kinds of, that's in.
But what we're asking for would be of a big benefit to you in further justifying additional attorneys and/or staff. I totally agree. You are the DA. You should not be traveling to do routine business because you're short an attorney, etc. But without that, all we have is basically your recommendation, the CEO's recommendation, that your office is short-staffed, a pleading that you need additional staff. Mm-hmm. What I think we've been all asking mm-hmm. for the last year was not a study to be on the negative side, but a study to show a snapshot in time of where you were.
Well, that's what I was looking at as far as having attorneys going through their caseload and pulling cases. So it gives you an idea. This is the amount of work that goes into a murder case. This is what would go into a rape case. So you can see that, because what you can do is you can, and I have, you can compare the population of the counties, you can compare the case filings, and there's a more accurate picture of what's going on. And I will tell you that, Lake County, per population, has more attorneys than we do in their district attorney's office. There are many variables. We have, at this point, two outlying offices to staff. So that's another variable that some of the larger offices don't have. But if you actually look at the filings, that is probably your best bet as to what's going on and to compare to other counties to know that these people are working that hard. When I pointed out that man to woman between the public defender and the district attorney's office, I'm surprised that that didn't make an impact and that it caused you to worry when there's the private attorneys out there. We review every single case, and in the statistics I have provided, we review, and that takes time, sitting down, making phone calls, calling, maybe researching a legal point. In many of those cases, public defender never even sees. A private attorney never sees. But that's hours of work that our office has to spend, our attorneys have to spend. The grand jury obligations, we have obligations that these other offices don't have, and they far exceed what our other public attorneys are doing. So I will still wrestle with it, and I will